mateys. Yeah, okay, that was horrible. Outlaw Rogue, what else can I say? They made this thing, Captain Blackbeard or whatever. It's an interesting spec. That's about all I can really say, is they've done a few changes. How's the rotation playing? It's not much difference. Actually, you feel more like, an assassination rogue minus rupture on live because of the way that the pistol shot works. Really, guys, it's not a bad spec, but it's not that damn great. And let's go ahead and start in on this thing with the abilities. Alright, so we're starting off with the abilities, guys, just like we normally do. And you've got Adrenaline Rush still. Pretty cool cooldown. 3-minute CD, increases your energy regeneration rate by 100% and your attack speed by 20% for 15 seconds. Okay, so with this being said, generalized cooldown, 3 minutes. It increases your energy regeneration. If you've used this on live, it works basically the same, except I don't believe the attack speed is in there. So this helps out just a bit. Ambush is still here. Only usable while stealth, and awards your 2 combo points, so you can still end up getting that double ambush play if you end up using ambush and then vanishing an ambush again. It helps out just a tiny bit. Between the eyes, basically this is kidney shot at ranged. So what you're looking at is it's a finishing move that deals damage with your pistol and stuns the target. Critical strikes with this ability deal 4 times the normal damage. Alright, so crit is going to be a pretty high deal for you anyways. Again, I mean, I think this is going to be a haste crit kind of spec. Could be wrong. Not even going to go there with the stats on this thing because it's all over the damn place. But yeah, so this is basically your kidney shot, guys. It's going to be on a range, though, so you can end up doing it at 20 yards instead of right there in front of you. Blade Fury, or Flurry, works the same as on live, but there's a huge difference, guys. 35% normal damage is what all that you're doing on the cleave. It's not a whole hell of a lot, so keep that in mind. The cleave on this thing's not as good as it used to be. It still does pretty good, but not what it was. Blind, basically, it's a 2-minute cooldown, guys, and it works the same. It's gonna make him disorient. You're gonna disorient the target for up to 1 minute unless they take damage. Bribe's new. This is cool. Basically, if you want, you can take a humanoid target, bribe them all the way up to 1 level higher than what yours is, and it's going to basically make them fight for you. It gives you a humanoid pet. So, okay, 30-minute cooldown though, guys, for something that lasts 5 minutes. Really? Kind of useless. Cheap shot, works the same as on live, guys. It's going to be a stun. It stuns a target for 4 seconds and awards 2 combo points, but you must be in stealth. Cloak of Shadows, same as on live. This is going to work and give you your magic immunity for X amount of time. 5 seconds, I believe. Yep, that's it. Crimson Vial, 30-second cooldown, instant. Heals you for X amount of your health. It says 42%, but that's because I have an ability or a talent that's increased it. Normally it would only be 30%. Curse of the Dreadblades. This is an interesting spammy ability. It makes it to where you can be very spammy. So basically you cast this thing and you can saber slash or pistol shot, and it's going to fill your combo points. So instead of it just giving you 1, it's going to fill it all the way up, and you're going to get to spam your finishers. Yay! But what happens with that? 5% of your health disappears every time you use a finishing move. And it lasts 12 seconds. So you can get a lot of finishers in there, guys. And as long as you're taking heals or you're not being a complete tard with it, you can do some pretty good damage. Some really good damage. So just keep that in mind. But you gotta watch your health. Otherwise you will kill yourself. Death from Above is a talent. We'll go over that later. Distract works the same. I do have a glyph on it too, guys. It's Glyph of Flashbang. It's kind of cool. You throw it out there and bam, flashbang instead of the smoke. Kind of neat. Faint. Okay, works the same as on live. This is going to reduce your area of effect damage by 50% for 5 seconds. Cool. Ghostly Strike, we'll get into that later. That's a talent. Gouge. Okay, so this is the same thing. It felt really broken, guys. It felt like it would not end up working. And I don't know if it needs a position requirement still for being in front of the target or behind him, but it doesn't say it anymore. It just says gouges the eyes of an enemy target, incapacitating for 4 seconds. Damage will interrupt this effect. I think with this ability, you still need to be in front of them, though, from the testing I've done. If they're going to change it, they need to, because right now, it's not working behind them. And that was just through dungeon testing that I figured that out. Kick, your interrupt, basic. Killing spree, talent, picklock, does exactly what it says. Pickpocket, same thing. Pistol shot, new ability. This is kind of like the dispatch for rogues. It's, except it doesn't have a, an execute feel to it. It's just basically there for another button to hit whenever ranged, or it lights up shiny. But what's it going to do? You're going to draw a concealed pistol and fire a quick shot at an enemy, dealing very little damage and reducing movement. So, let me head over here. We'll select this target and bang. That was a trinket that went off. Oops. Bang. Bang. Yay. Bang. Okay, that's enough of that. So, riposte. This is basically your replacement of evasion. I wish I would give evasion back. Grants a 100% chance to parry for 10 seconds, and each time you parry an attack, you will riposte the target for very small physical damage. Basically, you're just deflecting. That's it. You're deflecting and reverting damage. Roll the bones. This effect is really interesting. And the reason why I say this is interesting is it has different abilities. And for each one of the abilities, well, I'll go over them here. In fact, I'll add another little window right here. Hopefully it'll end up being there. And what this is going to do is each one of these abilities that you're seeing is going to have a chance of proccing. Now you can either cast it, and by the way, I want to show you this just because, we'll go ahead and shoot this a few more. The actual effect is pretty cool. You throw giant dice and then it shows you what you end up getting, and it's pretty interesting the way it goes. But it's going to give you one of these abilities that's actually going to increase, yeah, that's basically it, guys. It's going to increase your performance some way. You've got a healing one, you've got Shark Infested Waters, which is going to do critical strike chance. You've got Jolly Roger, which heals you. Each one of these is going to have a chance of proc. This leads this spec to where it is almost a 100% gamble every time you play it. If you enjoy gambling, you're going to enjoy this spec. I'm not much of a gambler. I like knowing a solid situation when I walk into it. So, you're basically gambling with Roll the Bones. You do have a way of swapping this back out for Slice and Dice and Talents if you don't like seeing that. But currently, this can either be really, really bad or really good, because it can give you just one of them, or it can give you all of the abilities in one roll. And that's what I mean by a gamble. And then what you end up getting, if you get like 3 of them, you can end up getting 2 really good ones and then Jolly Roger, and you're like, fuck me, do I keep this or do I roll again? It's just one of those gambling situations. Do you want to take the chance of spending those combo points? And with that being said, let's go to run through. Okay, run through. This is a renamed Eviscerate, guys. All it is, they renamed it to be a piratey theme, and it's going to do damage based on, I mean, it's got a neat little, here, we'll cast it. Let me back up, and there it is. That's it. You've got some ability to end up playing with, but there's nothing special about much anything on this spec. It's just Eviscerate. It doesn't even have a cool looking, animation to go with it. It's just Eviscerate. Saber Slash, SS, Sinister Strike, same thing. But because you use swords now, that is where you are lying. Yeah. Sap requires stealth. Now, it's going to work the same. I do have a glyph on it. It's incapacitated, so let's see if it'll work. Yeah, it won't let me do it on them. But basically, the glyph makes it look a little silly. Makes them look blackout drunk. It's just going to do your normal CC that you would as a rogue, guys. Nothing's changed with this. Same exact deal. And then you got Sprint. Increases your movement speed by 70% for 8 seconds, usable while stealth. And then I got Glyph of Burnout, which leaves a little smoke trail behind. And that's it. Stealth, hey, does exactly what it says, puts you into stealth. Tricks of the trade. Going to this is your threat redirect, guys. It still works, and it does not revert the it doesn't revert the threat anymore. That's the only major difference from live. Vanish, it's still there. It works exactly the same, guys. 2-minute cooldown, and it's going to allow you to re-enter stealth during combat, and no damage will end up breaking it for the first 3 seconds. So really interesting. Now in our passives, combat potency, it's passive. Your offhand attacks have a chance to generate 15 energy. Basically the same thing as what's on live. You get a little bit more energy regeneration on your offhand attacks. The only problem is you can't end up equipping a dagger in there to cheese that out and adjust it anymore, so they fixed the energy regen to 15 all the way through and through, because now you have a sword no matter what if you're using the artifact. If you're not using the artifact, this may not be the game for you. Fleet-footed, passive. Your movement speed is increased by 15% and you take reduced falling damage. That's... yeah, okay. Mastery, main gauche, same thing, gouge, whatever. And main hand auto attacks have a 51% chance, or whatever your mastery is, to trigger an attack with your offhand that deals 1,255 damage. Doesn't do a lot of damage, guys, but this works hand in hand with combat potency and your energy regeneration. So if you're getting those extra hits, you're getting that extra regeneration, so on and so forth. Ruthlessness, passive. Your finishing moves have a 20% chance per combo point spent to grant a combo point. Same as across all of the specs in some shape or form, but this is basically how it's going to go. Alright guys, with that, let's go ahead and move on to the talents. So here we are on the talents. Level 15, guys, Ghostly Strikes. Basically, this is like a weakened version of Revealing Strikes. And what's it going to do? It's going to strike the enemy with a cursed weapon, dealing very little physical damage, and causing the target to take 10% increased damage from your abilities for 15 seconds. Awards 1 combo point. This is basically what they turned Revealing Strikes into, guys. They removed Revealing Strikes and they made a talent to where you can still play that style of gameplay with Ghostly Strikes. Then you've got Sword Masters, passive. Saber Slash has a 15% increased chance to strike for an additional time. So basically you've got a multi-strike effect for your SS. That's basically it. Quick Draw, passive. Free use is a pistol shot granted by Saber Slash. Now generate 1 additional combo point and deal 50% increased damage. This is an interesting ability also, guys, and what it's going to do is, instead of 1 combo point when it procs, it's going to do 2, and it's going to allow you to do more damage through Pistol Shot. Pistol Shot doesn't do a whole hell of a lot of damage to begin with, so it didn't seem that great, and this is 10% increased damage from all of your abilities, so this felt a little bit stronger going back with the Revealing Strike gameplay. I'm sorry, Ghostly Strike, damn pirates. Level 30, Grappling Hook. This thing's horrible. This is absolutely horrible, guys. It's so slow. If this was a little bit faster on the gameplay, it would be alright. But as you can see, you get a targeting reticle, and you throw it over, and it's horrible. It really doesn't do that great, and the animation takes forever, and then it's got to go over. By that time, you're already going to be dead in whatever's sitting there. This is basically, in my opinion, if you plan on running back to a boss multiple times, this will help you get there faster. But you also got Acrobatic Strikes. Passive increases the range on all your melee attacks by 3 yards. Some fights this is really helpful. The snake on, well, both snakes actually, the one in Neltharion's Lair and the one in the Eye of Ashara, both of those require a little bit of a range gap to actually help you out, and this can end up helping. And then you've got Hit and Run. This is the one that I've been running with just because, hey, Hit and Run, see what I did there? Increases your movement speed at all times by 15%. Just helps out. Level 45, Deeper Stratagem. These ones here are going to take some work, guys. They actually have some choice in how you feel like you want to play. So Deeper Stratagem is the same across the board on all the rogue specs. Allows you to consume up to 6 combo points, and your finishing moves deal 20% increased damage. Unfortunately, I wanted to go more with the energy, but we'll get to that in a second. Anticipation, passive, you may have a maximum of 8 combo points. Finishers still consume a maximum of 5 combo points. It's just a little bit of pooling, really not that great the way they've got it set up. And then Vigor, passive, increases your maximum energy by 50 and your energy regeneration by 10%. This one felt a little bit better, at least to me, in the way I was playing it. And by no means was I playing it well, because I was a little on the board side with it. It's just a basic 3-button rogue spec. Well, 4-button now that you've got pistol shot. Level 60, Iron Stomach. This is the passive I talked about a little bit earlier, but it's going to increase healing you receive by Crimson Vial, healing potions, and Hellstones by 30%. So a little bit of survivability, which it's needed because in the open world questing, this was by far the squishiest out of the 3 rogue specs. Which is weird because combat used to be the go-to spec of getting out there and actually doing damage, but you don't have combat readiness anymore. You don't have any of these other abilities that you use to actually keep your ass alive. So now it's a little on the squishy side. Elusiveness, passive. Feint also reduces all damage you take from non-area effects by 30%, and yeah, okay, it's a damage reduction. This hasn't changed. It's the same on all 3 specs. Cheat Death, same thing. It hasn't changed. Same on all 3 specs. Yeah, you'll hear me saying that a lot. So instead of dying, it puts you at 7% of your maximum health, and for 3 seconds afterwards, you take 85% reduced damage. But it's got a 2-minute ICD in it, guys. Internal cooldown. 75 Parlay. This replaces Blind and basically turns it into a CC. Where you negotiate instead of fighting. Yeah, it's dumb, guys. Basically, you make the person stand there and talk to themselves and have a debate instead of committing to combat. Really weird, but it is a CC instead of blind. Prey on the Weak. Enemies disabled with your blind, gouge, or cheap shot sap take 10% increased damage from all sources. Then you've got Dirty Tricks. Gouge, blind, cheap shot, and sap no longer cost energy. Level 90, Cannonball Barrage. It is what it is. It's an AoE. That's all it is. It's an AoE. It does some pretty decent damage, but it's not great. It really is not. And then you've got Electricity. This is the same across all of the specs for rogues. And there's not a fight out there right now that lets you really get a good use out of this to where you can ramp it up completely to test it right. Will it be good? Possibly, especially on this spec where I see haste being kind of like it is on live and doing quite a bit better. And then you've got Killing Spree. Killing Spree is going to work the same as what's on live, really. We'll go ahead and just cast it here. Let me get that blue fire going. Damn trinket procs. And that's what you're looking at, guys. It's just going to make you jump around and do the same exact thing. If you have Slice and Dice up, it still allows you to end up, or I'm sorry, not Slice and Dice, Blade Flurry. It'll still end up jumping around to all of the targets and just randomize who it's hitting main and then who Blade Flurry ends up hitting. Still does really good damage. That's why I went with it, just for the additional cooldown. Plus, you have a way of reducing that through, if you went through the abilities, Jolly Roger has one of them that's able to actually reduce the cooldown of all your abilities. So you can have Killing Spree off cooldown quite a bit more often. Level 100, Slice and Dice. This replaces Roll the Bones. If you don't like the gamble but you love combat, you can end up taking out the gambling with this ability and just go back to the old Slice and Dice play, where you keep it up and increase your attack speed by 100%, and then each combo point's going to increase how long it lasts. For me, I felt the need to end up actually testing Jolly Roger a bit more than going back to WoD Rogue. Marked for Death works the same as on live. 1 minute cooldown, generate 5 combo points, guys, and then if the target dies within that 1 minute, it resets the cooldown of Marked for Death. Pretty good for progressive trash clearing, questing, but as for dungeons, not so much. And then Death from Above actually fit this spec. The other 2 specs, not so much. This one, it actually fit, and 23 energy, 1 to 5 combo points, and it's going to make you fly up into the air, and then when you come down, you're going to hit run through for 50% more damage. Again, if you've never seen this ability, we'll go ahead and just, I'm not going to fully power it, but you jump up and then slam down, and boom. The only problem with this that I have seen is there's a couple fights you really do not want to use it on. They fixed some of them already, so you don't fall down holes or do any of this stuff. But one of them still that's gave me some issues is Helya. There was a few times that I would end up casting it, or this was back on alpha, mind you, but you would cast it and you would fly up in the air and you'd come down onto the tentacle that's popped out of the boat, and you'd actually fly through the boat and down. Pretty bad little graphic deal. But this is going to be it for the talents, guys. Death from Above actually fits a spec, and it plays well into it, and it actually fits the pirate theme, the way the animation looks. But with that, we are actually going to go into the artifacts themselves. So I did want to point out, I do enjoy the look of these swords. They are pretty cool. This is the base model, the Dreadblades. Yar, okay. And they have a decent look to them. Not spectacular, but they are better than a lot of them that I've seen and I've reviewed. And then you've got Promise of the Sea Scourge, and we're going to let this spin around because these are awesome looking. At least I feel that they are awesome looking. And there they are. And we're going to go ahead and you've got a couple different really cool looking, like this one right here. That's just sexy. Flame's Kiss. Hey, those look really good. I enjoy the look on this artifact quite a bit, guys. And again, we're going to let it spin around a little bit so you can get a good look at them. The good part about twin swords is they face them 2 different directions and you get to see. But these are really awesome looking swords. And then your PvP ones, probably the weakest out of all of them. That one's pretty cool. That really, I mean, they're okay. But for the PvP ones, usually they're the better looking. That's not bad. That just makes them look like really big daggers. But this here, that's sexy. That is super sexy. Alright guys, let's go straight into the traits though. So we're taking a look at the traits, and Curse of the Dreadblades, we went over this once already, and basically this is going to allow you to generate a shit ton of combo points, but spending these combo points on your finishers is going to do a little bit of a sacrifice on your health. Not too bad. But it does leave a semi-interesting gameplay on when you're going to use these. Full health and, you know, probably pairing with like Adrenaline Rush or something where you've got that extra energy to make sure you're able to pop these and get the best use out of it. So, here we are. First thing out of the door is Cursed Edges. And this is going to be just increased damage, 15% to increased damage, to be exact, to Saber Slash. Really? Okay. Generalized, this is what all of them are doing, increasing the damage. Now our next step is going to be Blade Dancer, and it's ranked 0 of 3. Your energy regeneration is reduced by 3% less while Blade Flurry is active. So instead of 20%, it's going to be 17, and then it'll be 6%, and then 9% or 10%. So this will help quite a bit in an actual cleaving fight, because you'll be able to almost, I'm going to say it takes it down 10% when it's capped, and that'll make it to where it's a 10% energy regen loss, which is going to help out a ton in a cleave situation, because you're basically going to be able to run your same rotation as you normally would with very little loss on energy. So that's kind of nice. And then you've got Hidden Blade, 0-1, passive successfully using ambush, guarantees your next Saber Slash will strike an additional time. So this gives an automatic multi-strike to Saber Slash whenever you ambush. Greed, run through occasionally awakens the Dreadblades, unleashing a sweeping attack against all nearby enemies for very little physical damage and healing you for a very good amount. So this is just a survivability kind of deal, and where it's going to end up helping a lot is whenever you're using your artifact ability and you're actually hitting run through quite a decent amount. This is going to have a chance of actually healing you a bit for a bit instead of, you know, damaging you, and it'll help. Ghostly Shell, 0-3. The Dreadblades heal you for 2, 4, or 6% of your maximum health for each effect cleared by Cloak of Shadows resisted during its duration. So, basically, if you're using Cloak of Shadows, you're going to end up getting some healing off of it along with that mitigation. Really decent. Fatebringer, usually 1 of 3, reduces energy cost of finishing moves by 2, 4, or 6. Alright. Fate's Thirst, rank 0 of 3, increases damage dealt by run through by 3, 6, or 9, possibly 10%. Okay. Gunslinger, rank 0 of 3, increases a critical strike chance of pistol shot by 3, 6, or 9, possibly 10%. Yeah, a little bit of extra damage out of pistol shot. Then you've got Deception, rank 0-1. Activating Sprint causes Feint to activate for no energy cost. So basically, it's just if you need to get the hell out of something and you're not sure you're going to, this is activate Sprint. Try and get out of it. If you don't actually get out of it, this is going to help save your ass just a little bit. Fortune Strike, 0 of 3, increases damage dealt by main gouge by 2%. So your mastery is going to get 2, 4, or 6% increased damage. And then you've got Blunderbuss. Top's a little cut off there. Sorry about that, guys. When Saber Slash strikes an additional time, your pistol shot may be replaced with Blunderbuss. Draws a concealed blunderbuss and fires a quick shot at the target, dealing 31,388 damage and reducing movement speed by. Just so you guys know, Saber Slash, okay, it does have a 35% chance to strike an additional time. I don't know if I went over that, but it will actually have a chance of hitting again, helping you with your combo point generation. When that happens, that's when this is going to have a chance of actually pulling out the blunderbuss. It's just a free pistol shot, and I don't know if the effect's different or if it's just the same thing. Then you've got Fortune's Boon, reduces a cooldown on Adrenaline Rush by 10 seconds, so 10, 20, or 30. Basically, instead of this being a 3-minute cooldown, you're looking at 2.5. Fortune Strikes, 0 of 3, combat potency, generates 1 additional energy, so 1, 2, or 3 additional energy each off of your chance with your offhand. Black Powder, 0 of 3, increases damage dealt between the eyes by 3, 6, or 9%. Again, if it crits, that's going to be 4 times the original damage anyways. So that's a good amount of damage if you're needing to stun something and taking a chance. And then the last Golden Dragon, last ability here. Blurred Time, rank 0-1. During Adrenaline Rush, all of your ability cooldowns recover 40% faster. So you're just spamming everything over and over and over with Adrenaline Rush up. You want to use all your other cooldowns before you end up popping Adrenaline Rush. There's also one of the Jolly Roger effects that ends up doing this also, so just something to think about. But this is going to be a really good amount of play, and we're going to go straight into the actual gameplay. Alright guys, so if you go into this with the same mindset of live combat, you're not too far off from what you would normally end up thinking. So what are you looking at? Okay, AoE situations. Boom, it's pretty simple. Turn on Blade Fury. Or Flurry. Fury. Yeah, Blade Flurry. Sorry. And that's going to be your AoE situations. Generally, that's all it takes for combat in most situations. But it's only a 35% damage transfer now compared to what it used to be. Really kind of cuts back a bit. 20% energy regeneration loss. But that is your AoE situation. Nothing's changed there, guys. Then you're going to just run your normal single target rotation. So, single target. Alright. Single target, Saber Slash is going to be your new SS. Sinister Strike. Run Through is going to be your new Eviscerate. And then you've got Jolly Roger, which takes over Slice and Dice. Now, Jolly Roger's gameplay is going to really be what affects your damage in most situations with the way things are played. Sucks, I know, but at the same time, this is how it's gotta be. Unfortunately. Unless you decide that you want to just bring back Slice and Dice and play this thing like on live. Now, the gamble is part of what makes this fun, guys. The gamble is part of what makes this fun. What are you getting that's going to increase your damage? That's really where this gameplay lies. And then your pistol shot. That's just an additional button, so you're not busy just hitting 11112, 11112, 11112, 11112. That's or whatever place you've got it set up or whatever's going on. It's a very, very basic spec. A lot of people enjoy it. Not so much on this side. I felt that the damage was completely out of my control. because it was based on an RNG effect through Jolly Roger. I'm not a big gambling guy to begin with, and then you've got this gamble that's going on inside of this game with your spec, your damage. But it does give it a fun factor, because when you get if you get like 4, 5, 6, however many you can get on this buff, it lights up your day. It's like hitting lucky sevens on a slot machine. It's just ding, 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 woohoo, we're going to town. But it's not that great in a situation where, okay, I need to make sure that I am stuck on this boss. The gambling outlaw situation really sucks. I mean, I know you're a pirate, but gambling with your DPS is not the way to go. All in all, guys, let's talk about a single target rotation on this real fast. Generally speaking, you're going to want to open up, be in stealth, open up with ambush. Ambush is still going to be your main opener. And you still have the benefit of doing a vanish and ambush again if you wanted to use it at that point. Really depends on how you're wanting to play your damage. So when you get this set up, your first thing that you're going to want to do is try and get a 4 or 5 point Jolly Roger and hope for the best. Pray that you get something good. If you do get something good, your next set's going to be used on Run Through, your new Eviscerate. What I don't like about this is if you get a Jolly Roger right off the bat, you're going to want to spend those next set of combo points on something different. Unless it's Jolly Roger and then 4 other items or 3 other items, then you'll be perfectly fine. But if you just get a single Jolly Roger, like I did almost all the damn time, it really felt shitty. Now, one good part about Jolly Roger that you can end up using, if you've got Jolly Roger up, don't look at it as completely bad, because if you've got your artifact ability up, you can pop it and actually go in, pop Adrenaline Rush and go into a really nice combo of Saber Slash, and then going into your Run Through, Saber Slash, Run Through, Saber Slash, Run Through, so on and so forth. Or if you wanted to change it up with doing another Jolly Roger and praying for the best again, you could do that also. Now, what I would not suggest is if you are running Death from Above. If you're running Death from Above, do not use it. The animation takes too damn long and you lose out on way too much damage compared to if you just ran a regular Run Through and just keeping that priority up. That animation takes forever. You will not succeed on damage if you did end up taking it. Just something to think about, guys. So that is going to be one way of using your cooldowns. The other one is using Killing Spree. And as you're playing through this, you'll notice it's really not a specified amount of damage. If you get lucky and you get the ability that reduces, every time you do a finisher, it reduces your it reduces the cooldown of your abilities. And here's the thing, that's going to completely change the dynamic of this gameplay. There's no real gameplay situation on this that you're doing, except for, one, you're managing your cooldowns correctly, just like any, but they have a chance of being lowered. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You've got that opportunity to lower them through Jolly Roger and do all this extra damage through Jolly Roger. Everything is based around Jolly Roger, and this is the problem. If Jolly Roger doesn't like you, you suck. That's all there is to it. You won't do shit for damage. And the rest of the gameplay really just feels like a combat rogue, guys. The rest of it is, okay, you get your Jolly Roger, you get the one that's doing good, and then you're just Sinister Striking and Eviscerating again, which is Saber Slash and Run Through now. That's all the difference is. And then you're using, whenever Pistol Shot lights up, you can use it and get your additional combo point. But really, guys, this thing is not playing a whole hell of a lot different than live combat. You've got one additional button on there, and then you've got a hell of a lot of gambling. And I didn't care for that side of it whatsoever. A lot of people seem to enjoy it, but I'm not that guy. And with this, guys, let's go ahead and take a quick look at some of the logs. Alright, guys, so here it is. We're taking a look at the logs, and you can see there's a little bit of missing, and the reason for the missing is going to be where I was standing. Some of the areas I had to be actually in front of the boss, and you still have a chance of missing at that point. So, if you look, Saber Slash is your new SS is going to be the top of the damage. Run Through is not far behind. Main Gouge, your mastery, it's still sitting pretty high up there, and it's because of how many times it'll actually hit. Melee, again, this is basically what you're looking at for combat on live. Except it would be SS, Eviscerate might be a little higher, and then Main Gouge all right up top, and then Melee's right there with it. All of these are going to be basically the same. This spec has not changed a whole hell of a lot. And then you've got Pistol Shot. It's not there for the damage, it's there for the combo point after the free proc. Ambush still hits like a truck. Ghostly Strikes, again, this is going to be more like a revealing strike. It's not there for the damage, it's there for the damage buff. And that's why these ones are actually sitting higher than they normally would. Death from Above. Really, guys, it's a good ability. 20-second cooldown. It does hit fairly hard, but it's not hard enough. It's going to be just like, as you can see, just like Saber Slash, just 50, or not, Run Through, just like Run Through, except 50% harder. So really, not a whole hell of a lot going on there. And then you've got Killing Spree. Killing Spree obviously does a decent amount of burst damage. Let's find it real quick. It's in the gray. No, that's Saber Slash. That's Run Through. It's that. Nope, that's Ghost. Hold on. I know it's here somewhere. I think it's here somewhere. Maybe not. Alright, so there it is. Found it. Alright, so I used it a little late off into the actual fight. And the reason for that was because I was still trying to get procs and get something that actually end up doing good with it. Again, Jolly Roger's a little on the different side, but it does do good. And then you got Killing Spree offhand, so both of these added together, it's still not a whole hell of a lot of damage. And then you've got Stilagos's Breath. Stilagos's Breath's actually a trinket, and then you've got Between the Eyes, which is, I used it to actually stun out the Golem. If you know the Dargle, the Underking fight, he summons a Golem and it chases somebody, and that's what I used it for, was to basically stop it. Range Kidney Shot, may as well use it. It's also doing some damage. But that's going to be it for the damage, guys. I mean, I can take a look at some of the other ones. We'll look at Rockmora, but it's not a whole hell of a lot different. It's the same exact playthrough on where everything's going to be. And that's where your damage is going to lie, guys. Unless you're doing like an AoE and then you'll have some Blade Flurry up on the trash. Not a whole hell of a lot of a bonus from that, though, with that 35% transfer only. So, this is going to be it, guys. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed. And, as always, thanks for watching.